Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to share with you the 5 warning signs that maybe your life dreams and your life goals aren't actually what you really truly want and desire. Maybe you should give up. I know this is like a really crazy thing to say. We've been told since we were little kids to never give up on our dreams. And I'm here to tell you that I think that's kind of BS, and I'm kind of here to burst that bubble for you. I'm going to share with you the 5 warning signs that maybe the dreams that you think you want for your life aren't actually, maybe they're not actually meant for you. Misplaced motivation. Maybe you have this dream, this goal that you want to achieve, but maybe truly you have some misplaced motivation that you need to explore. And the most simple example that I can probably give you is there's a lot of people that want to have a YouTube channel, that want to be an influencer, but their motivations for doing so are, in my belief, a little bit misplaced. You will burn out so quickly if your only motivation to come onto YouTube or to be an Instagrammer, influencer, is that you want to be famous and you want to make money. Now, I'm not at all saying that, unfortunately, we live in a world where people with those motivations and those motivations only still succeed and still get places. However, I don't think this should be your only motivation. And if your only motivation for your particular dream or goal is that you want to be famous or you want to make loads of money, I just think maybe that's a little bit misplaced, and it may very well be the ego talking. And again, I'm not at all saying that these are things that you should be ashamed of. And of course, like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money and be admired and be viewed from the public if that's so what you desire. But I just don't think it should be your only motivation. For long-term happiness, I just don't think that those should be your only sole motivations. I think that that is a surefire way to either burn out or just, at the end of the day, you know, you may reach this particular goal or dream and just feel like you're lacking in purpose, or maybe you feel like you kind of have a bit of a soulless existence, and it could very well be because you had these misplaced motivations. I'm going to carry on with this example for another point, but if you've seen glimpses of a particular dream being played out and they don't seem appealing to you, that is, again, another really big warning sign. You may think that you have a dream for your life. Maybe you want a certain promotion at your job, but if you get a glimpse of what it's going to take to get that promotion or to become that said thing, and maybe that seems a little bit unappealing to you, and those are sacrifices that you're not willing to make and compromises that you're not willing to make, it could very well be a sign that maybe that particular dream is maybe not meant for you. So number 2, you aren't enjoying the process, or maybe you just simply lost that love. I think, again, this has to come down to your own intuition, because I am well aware that the process and the grind and the journey that is reaching a goal or reaching a dream, it's tough. For a lot of people, it does not happen overnight, and it takes hours and hours and days and even years and years to reach a dream, to reach that goal. And you're not going to love every single aspect of it. There are going to be times where you're going to want to quit. There are going to be moments where you are just wanting to give up, and you're just hating the process or hating parts of it. But if this is something that is an extended period of time, just have completely lost the love for it and it doesn't come back, and you find yourself hating the process more than you do just simply enjoying it or even just tolerating it, I think that is a bit of a warning sign that maybe this might not be for you. And I think that you have to accept that maybe if you've lost the love for it, or you're no longer enjoying the process, especially for an extended period of time, it may be time to reevaluate. Number 3, if you find yourself fantasizing or daydreaming or just thinking about something else and just kind of wondering, like, what if I did that instead? What if I went down that path? I think things like that may be normal from time to time, but if you find yourself constantly thinking about an alternate dream or alternate path, or you're finding yourself distracted by something else that you find intriguing and you may want to pursue, I think that is maybe a warning sign, especially coupled with all these other things that I'm talking about today, that maybe the dream or the goal that you're trying to achieve, the dream life that you're striving for, is maybe not for you. If you find yourself fantasizing more and more, or thinking like, what if I did that instead? What if I went down that particular career path instead? Or what if I decided to head in that direction instead? I think if you find yourself doing that more and more, it may be a bit of a warning sign that what you think you truly want out of life, maybe you don't really want. And especially when coupled with all these other things that I've spoke about and I'm going to speak about in the next 2 points, I think it might be a sign that maybe this isn't for you. Number 4, if you are not willing to, and the idea of making certain sacrifices to achieve your dream is something that you just don't want to do, is not at all appealing to you, then it is again another surefire warning sign that maybe this life isn't for you. And again, I'm going to share examples from my own personal life that maybe you could relate to. When I was in my early 20s and I had fantasies about being a runway makeup artist, an artist for big fashion houses and working behind the scenes as a makeup artist, I always knew that in the city that I live in, and especially the country that I live in, that was going to be a hard industry to crack because, you know, Australia is not really known for high fashion runway shows. So I'd either have to move to Sydney or Melbourne, or I'd have to go so far as to move to overseas. And again, another example being most recently my YouTube channel. When I was in my mid-20s, I was genuinely thinking, okay, if I want to be a luxury fashion influencer, if I want to be in the fashion space, and if I want to be an influencer, especially with high fashion, if I want to go to those runway shows, which truthfully, that's not something at all I want. I was watching these influencers, I was watching luxury fashion influencers and thinking, this could be like, what a dream come true career, what a dream to strive for. And, you know, looking at their lives and emulating that and trying to replicate their life. So, you know, if you want to be a luxury fashion influencer, if you want to work with the high fashion luxury brands, and if you want to be invited to high fashion luxury shows, you need to be where the high fashion luxury is. And that is not in Australia. If I really wanted to take this seriously, and I realized that if I really wanted to be a luxury fashion influencer, if I wanted to work in the luxury fashion space, it would probably be a sensible idea for me to move to, you know, Paris, London, New York, or Milan. I have no interest in move. Actually, I maybe would live in Italy, but not Milan. I might live like a bit on the outskirts. Anyway, I had no interest in moving to New York or Paris or London or anywhere like that. So again, if you are not willing to make the sacrifices, if those particular things and those elements of the lifestyle you want and the dream that you're trying to achieve, if they do not sound at all appealing to you, and if they are kind of honestly like don't sound like something that you want out of your life, that could be a surefire warning sign that maybe the dream life or the dream that you are chasing might not be for you. Number 5, maybe you've just reached the end of the line, and I think this is maybe where you might disagree with me, but I think it is quite heartbreaking, but it is something that we all have to come to terms with. I mean, maybe not all of us, but a particular example I have to share with you is a boyfriend I had when I was young. He was my first kind of serious relationship, and he had dreams of being a professional soccer player, and he sacrificed so much. He gave up so much, I gave up so much. We spent a really large portion of our relationship on other ends of the world, which honestly I think was part of the demise of our relationship. I don't like long distance, and it, you know, the separation, and there was a lot of sacrifices there, and it got to the point where he reached a certain age, and if you know anything, which I personally don't know a hell of a lot, but you know, the professional sports realm, especially in soccer, you know, it's gets smaller and smaller. Opportunities to become a professional soccer player kind of shrink, and the pool gets smaller the older you get. And you know, the older he was getting, his dream was out of reach. His dream was no longer accessible to him. I know that we live in a society that again like makes it seem as if that, you know, if you put in the work and you work your hardest and you know you spend day and night grinding and you know you do all the right things and you believe all the right things and you say all the right things, that your dreams will come true. And it's not always guaranteed. It's not always guaranteed. You know, this example I'm sharing with you, my boyfriend wanted to be a professional soccer player since he was a little boy, and it never happened for him. And there's a lot of examples like that. You know, there are a lot of musicians, there are a lot of singers, artists that are so talented, but a lot of them do not reach Taylor Swift level or do not even get recognized. So I do think that sometimes you just reach the end of the line, and I think, again, I'm not at all here to tell you to give up on your dreams, okay? That's not what this video is about, but I think we all have to listen to ourselves to a certain degree to truly realize when we are at the end of our line. I think it's a personal thing, and we all have that kind of inner guidance and voice inside of us that tells us when we've reached the end of the line. And I'm not at all trying to sound depressing, because I honestly believe for a lot of people, I mean, it can be really heartbreaking, especially if you've missed the boat and maybe you've gotten to 30, and I don't know what the ages are, but I don't think they're really scouting like 30-year-old professional soccer players. I think they kind of discover you when you're a lot younger. But obviously it comes down to talent, comes down to drive, but it also comes down to timing and resources and just being in the right place at the right time. And you will know if it's time to give up on a dream, so to speak, because it will be coming from a place of true acceptance. It won't be coming from a place of fear, of resentment, of anger. You'll just kind of, especially if you no longer resonate with a particular dream, which is, I think, how I felt a lot of the time throughout my 20s. Things I thought I wanted, I got a closer look at them, I got a glimpse into that world, or I saw the things I needed to do to get there, and I was like, nah, like that's not for me. That's not for me. I think you'll deep down know when it's time to keep fighting and keep pushing, or if it's time to kind of throw in that towel. And I think it's like an innate feeling you have. You don't feel guilty, you don't feel fear, you don't feel resentment, you just feel like an overwhelming sense of acceptance and almost relief when you know that it's truly time to step away and move on to something else. So I do hope this video was helpful. I'd love to hear about you and your dreams in the comments down below. If you have any experiences from your life where maybe you thought you wanted something from your life, you had this dream, and maybe you changed your mind. Maybe you decided to give up on that dream. Maybe you didn't want that life anymore, or maybe you got it and it was the best thing that ever happened to you. Share with me that in the comments down below. Or maybe even you got it and you were like, oh my God, this is awful, I don't want this anymore. Share with me your experiences in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. I'm gonna have another one linked to you right here. If you haven't had enough of me just yet, feel free to join me over there. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.